Next up on stage, Facebook's Parr will be talking about the Facebook platform for developers.
Yep.
And also how you're reaching out to local companies, local startups in Finland, all right?
Exactly right, yeah.
Okay, big hand to Ali.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. As introduced, I'm Ali, and I head up past partnerships for Facebook in Europe. And I've worked at Facebook for around 3 years, and in that time, I've really discovered the way that Facebook can help apps and developers, small and large, build, grow, and monetize. And that's why I'm here today to talk to you. So firstly, just a few stats about where we are in 2014. In terms of build, 80% of the top iOS and Android apps now use Facebook login to power their identity within their apps. It's become the ubiquitous, kind of de facto standard for logging people in apps, and we think that this identity is really important for users coming to your app to bring their identity with them. And we're happy that Facebook has really cemented that. We've driven over 1 billion app installs to the iOS and Google Play Store. This is a big deal. It's really tough to get your app exposed on these stores. You know, it's so difficult to have an app, get it to the top 10, and then the next week it's disappeared. Facebook, outside of the stores themselves, is the largest driver of traffic to those stores. And so it's really important that you consider working with us to help drive discovery of your app. And lastly, we've processed over $3 billion in payments. So, you know, we're growing. Most of this money goes to developers, and we're really working to build a sustainable platform that you can build on. So really the way that we look at the kind of the tech world right now is that there are these silos. There's a silo that Apple has on iOS. There's a silo that Google have on Android. Microsoft have a silo, and it's growing, and it's great to see them here today. And then there's the web. But the problem is that there are some services and some things that you want to take across these silos, like my identity, like sharing. You know, I want to sign into your app on my iPhone, and then on my iPad, and then on my Android tablet, and I just want it to work. I also want to share things, and I don't want to care about what my friend is using. I just want to be able to share content and know that they can consume it. The same goes for push notifications, for app installs, for monetization. The same is true. And so we really think of Facebook as the cross-platform platform, the thing that lets you bridge the gap between these silos and lets you carry these services regardless of which platform you're building on. I've been at Facebook pretty much for most of the time that the platform has been around, and we've watched it grow, and we've watched developers really build sustainable businesses, large businesses with big staff numbers, you know, in that time. And we're conscious that you need stability when you build on our services. And so we launched at F8 a few weeks ago a 2-year core stability guarantee. So now if you build on the Facebook stack, you can guarantee that what will be in existence today will be around in 2 years. So you can build with confidence and know that we're going to stick around and we're not going to pull the rug out from under your feet. We also launched versioning of our APIs. So in the past, you would build something on the Facebook stack, and then we would change, you know, the behavior, and it would kind of mess you up. We now believe that by doing this, we can move faster. We can launch new functionality without having to be worried that we're going to break old apps. And you can build your app against a version of the Facebook APIs and know that it will work consistently. And lastly, a 48-hour SLA bug fix. We take this seriously, and we've staffed up a team to service it. We believe that our platform should be stable, and you should be able to build on it with confidence. And so we're really committed to this. Let's talk about this button. This button is everywhere, as I mentioned before. But the sad truth is that a lot of people are afraid of clicking this button, because they don't know what the app will post to Facebook on their behalf if they sign in. So about 6 months ago, we launched this little extra feature. We've now separated out the need for an app to ask for read and write permissions. So that means that I can sign in to an app using Facebook, confident that it won't post to Facebook on my behalf without me explicitly giving it permission. And there's this extra button now that says, not now. I don't want this app to post on my behalf. And we think this is a really good step forward in building user trust. But we've now gone a step further. If you now sign into Facebook, we're going to optionally add the ability to option out things that you give as a read permission as well. So now you'll see this list of things that you're giving the app. And you might say, you know what? I don't want to give it my email address. I don't want to give it my likes. That's OK. We feel that you should be entrusted with your data. Before you're in this situation where it was all or nothing. You gave the app everything about you, or you didn't log in. We now have improved this so that you can sign in confident that the app only gets what you want it to get and that it won't post to Facebook on your behalf. And we really think that putting people first is important in building a platform that people can trust. We also launched this new button, which we're in closed beta at the moment, and we're kind of rolling it out soon. Log in anonymously. What this does is it gives the app an ID that is consistent for that user, but the app gets no information about that user. So when you sign in, again, notice this doesn't look like Facebook. It's not blue. It has its own unique branding. You get this user experience to explain what's going on, and then you hit login. Now, there are no permissions here because the app is not getting anything about me as a person. It's just getting an ID that they can use to customize my experience. This is useful because then if I take your app onto a new device, on a new platform, you can still identify that this is me that's logging in, and you can provide a consistent experience for me. But I feel safer because I'm not sharing information with you that I'm not yet ready to share. The way I like to think about this is, imagine you're going on a date for the first time, and the person sitting opposite you at the table says, "Will you marry me?" You think, "Oh, slow down. I need to know something about you first." And this is our way of letting you try before you buy with an app. OK, so let's dive in and talk about the 3 pillars that I mentioned before: build, grow, and monetize. Let's start with build. And really, build, I'm talking about Parse. Parse is close to my heart because it's what I work on every day. What is Parse? To build a modern app these days, you have to do a load of things. You have to think about servers and your backend, database schemas, bindings. Is it secure? Is it in a data center that can scale? What about backup? What about security? And then once you've got those in place, you have to figure out how it communicates with the phone. What about APIs? Will you design this yourself? How will that work? What about communication? What happens if the user is on a phone and that phone goes into a tunnel because they're on a train? How does this stuff work? Well, typically, app developers are having to reinvent these wheels time and time again, and we think that that's crazy. So with Parse, we bundle these services up and let you just focus on your app, the unique value that you're adding to the world, and we take care of the nuts and bolts of everything else. How does it work? Well, it breaks down into 3 products. We have Parse Core, which is a database in the cloud. Allows you to save data, retrieve data, run code in our cloud, all very simply, and it allows you to scale to the scale that Facebook has. We daily support 1 billion+ people, and your app can scale there too without you having to worry. Parse Push for push notifications. Again, this is a really important way to re-engage users, bring them back into your app over time. And Parse Analytics for diving in and figuring out what's working in your app, what events are taking place, what's the user behavior, and how you can improve it. The setup of Parse is really very simple from a code point of view. Here we have just a few lines of code that demonstrates how easy it is. Here we have a user, and the user is favoriting a talk at a conference. Maybe you would favorite my talk. And then you're hitting save. Parse is taking care of the threading on the phone to figure out how to communicate this to a server. It's figuring out how to spin up a server, creating a database, creating a schema, and making sure that that data is safe and saved. And so as an app developer, you can just ignore it. You can just move on and build your app. Parse Push, very similar. Here we're creating a query of users that are in 1 mile, within 1 mile of a certain venue, and we're sending them a push notification to say, "Hey, the keynote is starting, come and take your seat." It's quite a sophisticated thing, right? We're tracking users' locations, we're saving them, we're then creating a cohort, and we're sending a push. And again, this push can be on iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and it's a few lines of code, really simple stuff. Parse Analytics for tracking events in your app. This is how you do it. You litter your app through your own events, and then you can track it on time. We have SDKs for every major platform under the sun. SDKs for iOS, Android, Windows, JavaScript, Unity. If you're a game developer, there's a first-class Unity SDK. We're really committed to build wherever you're building. We've taken off. Parse was acquired by Facebook around about a year ago, which is when I kind of joined the team. And we're doing really well. Great growth this year. And there are some major companies that are now banking on Parse. We have major banks here, big gaming companies, and this list is growing. So we really encourage you to build with us. One of the other major things that we announced at F8 was new pricing. And I think this is really important. So for Parse Core, we support up to 30 requests a second. In layman's terms, that will support around about 1 million users a month for free. Parse Push, we allow you to send an unlimited number of messages to up to 1 million devices for free. And Parse Analytics completely for free for life. For Facebook, this is not about making money. It's about building partnerships with small companies, helping them build mobile apps and get them into our ecosystem. We launched some new things recently. growth analytics to allow you to really understand the growth of your app, your MAU, DAU, ARPU, these kind of numbers. And retention. So here we can see that 28 users that registered 28 days ago, only 15% are still around today. Here we can see that between April the 25th and April the 26th, we launched a new feature, and now retention has grown massively. So this allows you to track features that you're launching in your app and really see how those numbers affect your audience over time. Now, I don't know about you, but I travel to work on the subway, on the London Underground. And when I do, I'm without an internet connection for about half an hour. And when I don't have an internet connection, my phone, my beautiful iPhone, becomes completely useless. I'm left with a clock and some old photos, because most apps just don't do very well without an internet connection. However, there are some apps out there that really do well. Think about Candy Crush, for example. That game allows you to sync your progress offline, and then when you get an internet connection back, it syncs your progress, and you can continue playing. It's great. I wish more apps would work like it. So we've launched Parr's Local Data Store. This allows you to very simply and seamlessly say, OK, I want this data to be saved on my phone, and I want you to care about syncing up to the cloud later. So it allows you to build an app that works just as well offline as it does online. We think it's really important. So that's build. Now let's get on to grow. How can you grow your app with Facebook, and what tools do we have for you out there to help you grow? Well, as I mentioned before, this massive problem that affects app developers today is just getting lost in the crowd. There are thousands and thousands of apps, hundreds of new apps being launched to the stores every day. It's really hard to get discovered. And we have a few ways that we think we can help. The first is this new Send to Mobile button that we've launched on the web version of Facebook Login. So if you have a website or some web presence attached to your mobile app, and you click Login, there's this new button that will appear which says, Send this to my phone. It's automatically ticked, and then when that user says Login, they'll immediately receive a push notification from Facebook that says, hey, this app is also available on your iPhone, on your Android device, on your Windows device. And it will send the user through to the appropriate app store to download. So we think this is a really easy value add. No work for you as a developer, you just get it for free. We've recently launched the mobile like button, finally, at last, a like button on mobile. It's native, it renders beautifully, you can embed it in your apps, and this will create content on news feeds that, again, improves discovery. And lastly, I think this one's really important, a new message dialogue sharing. So we've always supported being able to post to people's timelines, which is a big, visible, public way of showing what you're doing in an app. But oftentimes there are situations where you want to share more privately. You want to share with just a few people or one specific person what you're up to. So we now support this Send to Messenger button. So rather than posting on Facebook, it will send a message directly on Messenger to an individual friend or couple of friends. And this allows you to share intimately between people that you care about. So 3 ways: the Send to Mobile button, the mobile like button, and the message dialogue, all designed to help increase awareness, increase user acquisition on mobile. Now, we are so committed to helping young companies get started and build apps with Parr and everything else that we've also launched this new initiative, which I'm really happy to talk to you about. It's called FB Start. What we've done is Facebook has partnered with these companies to provide services that are really useful for a young company. We've subsidized these, and we're making them available very cheap for you. So we have MailChimp for doing email, SurveyMonkey for doing surveys, Adobe for your creative suite, those kind of tools, BlueJeans for video conferencing, Quip for docs, et cetera, et cetera. There are 2 tracks that you can sign up for. One is the Bootstrap track, and Facebook will give you $5,000 worth of credit in these services. And again, we've worked hard, so this money goes a long way. It's really easy to sign up. You just need a company with a presence, and we're pretty open about who we let in. If you're seeing some growth and some kind of momentum, then we invite you to join the Accelerate track. Here we'll offer $30,000 worth of free services from these companies, and we would love to partner with you and get you involved in this. We're taking applications right now, so if you go to fb.me/start, fill out a few details about your company, and we will be in touch. We're really keen to partner with you. OK, so that's grow. Finally, we're on to monetize. Most people think that Facebook gaming is all about Farmville, about Candy Crush, about casual games. It's not true. This is a recent game, full screen, 3D, appeals to male gamers primarily, and Facebook has really become the breadth of platform for gaming of all type. And so here are a few stats about how we're doing in gaming. Every month, over 375 million people play a game that's connected to Facebook. This is by far the largest gaming platform in the world. It's bigger than Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, all put together. Facebook is bigger. But the stat that I particularly like is the middle one, which says that over 100 developers made more than $1 million last year. I think that's huge. And I think that really shows the breadth of gamers that are on Facebook playing every day, because there's a different game and a different developer that appeals to them, and we can support a whole host of them. And as I mentioned before, these 100 developers had over $3 billion worth of payments transacted for them by Facebook, and the majority of that money given to them. But we want to help you make money elsewhere as well. And so we launched at FA a few weeks ago, the Facebook Audience Network. This is an ad network, as you're used to it, and it allows you to take Facebook's best-in-class targeting and display ads in your app, and then you receive the lion's share of the profit. We have banner ads, interstitials, and native ads. Again, very simple to get going, few lines of code, few IDs, and we will support targeted Facebook ads, specific for this user, with we believe the best CPMs going straight into your app. It's an open beta right now. We're taking on partners slowly, testing the waters, but we really are excited about this. Please go to this web URL and sign up. So that's really it. They're the 3 ways that we believe we can help you build, grow, and monetize your apps. I don't know if we have much time, but I'm happy to take questions, or I'm around afterwards. Please come and grab me.
I think we have a lot of time left, so I'd like to ask you about Facebook games, because they haven't been so hot topic lately. Is this kind of something wrong with the perspective that people don't talk about, but still people are making lots of money with Facebook games?
It's a good question. I mean, I think that some of the huge growth stories, the incredible growth stories we hear about are on mobile these days. So you think about Supercell, a local example, or Rovio is a really good example. And those are the companies that really have captured the limelight because the growth is so huge. But what we actually find is consistent growth that works for young companies, is actually very much Facebook first. Take Candy Crush as a good example. Candy Crush existed on Facebook Canvas first, and then they took that audience and bootstrapped it onto mobile. It's really hard when you're launching a mobile app and it's new to get audience. And so if you can acquire that audience easier on Facebook, on the web, then that's a really surefire way of finding success. And we do find developers do this.
So the profile of a Facebook game developer has changed a bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think that a lot of the success that developers working with Facebook have are the ones that go cross-platform. So they exist on the web, and then they also have a mobile component. And we really want to be existing in both worlds, which is why we have Parr for building on mobile, and these tools that work across platform.
How do you see Finnish startup scene? Like, what kind of companies you're looking for in Finland?
Well,
But it's just because gaming is huge, but there's lots of other companies too.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, before I worked on Parr, I was in gaming. I was on the gaming team at Facebook, and so I would typically give you answers like Rovio, Supercell. Finding the next one of those is a huge one. Now I'm working with Parr, the kind of the breadth of company that we talk to is much wider, and so it's hard to give an answer. It's anyone that's building a mobile experience that wants to grow their audience, and so that can be all sorts.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Big hand to Ali.